Japan's baseball league is in the midst of one of its biggest scandals in history. I'm Deborah. Joining me now is Robert Whitting, an author, joining us from Tokyo. Okay, Robert, this all began because hitters were hitting 60% more home runs than they had in the previous season. So the scandal's really over the ball. Can you give us a little bit of background on how this all started and how much it's become a big topic of discussion in Japan?
Each team manufactured its own baseball. And that changed in 2011 when the commissioner of Japanese baseball, a man named Ryozo Kato, who was a long-time Japanese ambassador to the United States, quite popular figure, decided that the baseball had to be unified. That there had to be one standard baseball. So in 2011, he had a new baseball produced by Mizuno, and the result was that the seasons of 2012, home runs dropped by 60%, and this was cause of great concern to everybody. So there was a meeting over this past winter, and they asked him to rectify the problem. What happened is that Mizuno had manufactured baseballs under the minimum requirements. They're manufactured in a factory in China, by the way. They're handmade, so each ball was slightly different from the next. So they asked him to make a new baseball, and they did. And the Secretary General, a man named of the NPB, a man named Kunio Shimada, was in charge of this. And a new baseball was put into play during the preseason games, exhibition games. All of the old balls, the old dead balls, sitting in the warehouse, were used to deplete inventory. And then when official play began, they put this new ball into play. But the problem is they didn't tell anybody. For some reason, Mr. Shimada decided to keep it secret. He didn't even tell the commissioner of Japanese baseball. So all of a sudden, there's this enormous boom in home runs. After 2 months, they're going to, it looks like they might set a new record if they keep on this pace. And so the media kept asking why, and there was a lot of pressure, and finally they came out and admitted that they had changed the ball without telling anybody. And the Players Association is quite unhappy about this, especially the pitchers.
So one question though that does come to mind is the fact that, okay, you know, if everyone's now using the same ball and it's kind of a more exciting game to watch, then why are so many people in Japan so upset over this?
The commissioner's office had announced at the beginning of the season that, okay, we're going to put a new ball into play because everybody disliked the dead ball we were using the past 2 years. There would have been no problem.
I was surprised to find out that actually the popularity of baseball is on the decline in Japan. So could you give us a perspective of how much this is true and you know, whether or not there's a need to kind of revive interest in the sport?
Times have changed. Kids are raised on video games and smartphones, and they prefer something with a faster pace. You know, soccer has become quite popular, especially since the Japanese team is doing better and better in world qualifying. And also, a lot of Japan's top stars have gone to the major leagues where they've become big names, and so you see a lot of major league games televised in Japan now on television. So it's sort of taken the luster off the local Japanese game, and they're trying to, you know, one of the ways they thought of getting interest back was standardizing the ball, but you know that doesn't seem to work.
Thanks very much, Robert Whitting, joining us from Tokyo. For more on that story, you could go to WSJ.com. I'm Deborah.